The account of the 10 lepers in Luke is frequently used to teach the virtue of gratitude. Mixed in with a dose of shame, guilt, and a foundation of, I really don't deserve this. The traditional interpretations are deeply rooted in the Christian tradition. But I think the old way of finding truth and meaning in this passage is wrong. Luke 17, verse 11, I'm going to reread. On the way to Jerusalem, he was passing along between Samaria and Galilee. And as he entered a village, he was met by 10 lepers who stood at a distance and lifted up their voices and said, Jesus, Master, have mercy on us. When he saw them, he said to them, Go, show yourselves to the priests. And as they went, they were cleansed. One of them, when he saw he was healed, turned back, praising God with a loud voice. And he fell on his face at Jesus' feet, giving him thanks. Now he was a Samaritan. Then Jesus said, Were not 10 cleansed? Where are the 9? Was no one found to return and give praise to God except this foreigner? And he said to him, Rise and go your way. Your faith has made you well. See, in verse 14, Jesus' response is, Go show yourselves to the priests. It's a little like saying, Dudes, there's really nothing wrong with you guys. Not with the essence of who you are. Sure, you have some blemishes from the misfortunes life can bring. Yes, you do have some more visible bruises from some of life's unfairness than others, but there's nothing wrong with who you are. Now go and show yourselves. Now Jesus' affirmation here wakes a dark and dormant spirit within these lepers. When the eyes of one who sees beyond our struggles beholds us, we gain a new perspective of self and a renewed courage. See, it would take courage to go to the priests because their space was hostile territory for those who were tagged as blemished. But the lepers had just been seen for their true selves. So they get up and go. And on the way, it becomes clear to 9 of them that there really is nothing wrong with them. They were not rotten to the core because of external circumstance, but one runs back. There's a realization that things look okay again. But this one isn't so sure that he's deserving. So he cloaks his insecurity with humility and says thanks and pays homage. But Jesus was not a teacher who was looking to create a following of cowering, codependent folk. Jesus encouraged, even demanded independence. He lifted up the meek and the marginalized continually. Jesus did not want the 10 to come back. 9 were already on the way, not looking back, going boldly into the world to pursue that which had been put on hold. You see, all those dreams and aspirations that life's misfortunes throw off course from time to time, those misfortunes can sometimes grow voices. Voices that say things like, your dreams are not possible. You're not fit. You'll just fail if you try. Those urges, those voices, they felt silent when Jesus put them back in touch with who they really were, children of grace, wonder, and power. But the one, he couldn't yet see himself in the light of grace awakening and needed to return for a moment. So Jesus, facing this sweet Samaritan and former leper, says, we're not 10 cleansed. Where are the 9? Was no one found to return and give praise to God except for this foreigner? I hear Jesus' thoughts. And he's thinking this. This poor guy has been beaten down so badly by the messages that have been flying for so long that he cannot even see himself for who he truly is. Jesus takes his shoulders and stands him up and looks him right in the eyes, and Jesus lets his own eyes do the talking for a moment. His eyes say to this man, "You are good. You are true, and you always have been. I am sorry that you've been hurt and marginalized by systems that only validate a certain immigration status, a certain sexual orientation, a certain income bracket, and a certain level of education. But I've known you from the beginning, and you are good, and you are true, and you always have been." And then Jesus speaks. "Now rise and go your way." You see, sometimes we are one of the lepers in the story. Lepers don't always look the part. I've known lepers who live in really nice houses, take fabulous vacations, and drive environmentally sensitive automobiles, but are hurting. Some hurt because they've driven away loved ones due to an insatiable drive for professional success or economic gain that sucked up all of their time, focus, and energy because they felt they had to produce something tangible or win awards and recognition to be worthy of love and respect. And now there are places where they are not welcome. Sometimes leprosy is in the open sores of pride, arrogance, and abrasiveness on arms that are covered in fine material, stitched together by upscale boutique designers, sores from deep past hurts and severe lingering pain that won't go away because of an unwillingness or a genuine inability to heal. And now there are places where they are not welcome. Sometimes leprosy is despair, depression, and loneliness, cold leftovers from childhood trauma at the hands of respected community members. And now there are places where they are not welcome. Sometimes leprosy is homelessness. And now there are places where they are not welcome. Sometimes the symptoms of leprosy in nice neighborhoods and poor neighborhoods are treated with an overconsumption of alcohol, abuse of prescription pills, yelling and belittling, withholding affection, excess, or avoidant behavior. But remember, when Jesus says, "Go and show yourselves to the priests," he's boldly saying, you belong. No matter what the source of disease or the attempted cure, circumstance nor behavior can damage or dent the essence and beauty and perfection of who a person really is. Claim your rightful place. You belong. Sometimes we're Jesus in the story. Sometimes we just sit, present, silent, with a friend in need, at a bedside. Other times we're called to action. We march, we petition, we phone call and email. Sometimes we share expertise or mentor or play catch. Sometimes we just wake and make it through the day. We all have our bouts with leprosy. Many of us still deal with sores and scars, doubts and insecurities, but we have all also been Jesus. You do not do it for adoration or recognition or thanks. You do it because it is right, it is just, and it is true.